most people come to me and they're feeling really sick, they're feeling tired, they're feeling just kind of burnt out, and they're all wanting to feel brilliant. They want to shine, they want to feel healthy, and they want whatever illness they have to go away.
Yeah.
And truth be told, they want to look younger. They want to feel younger.
Yeah.
They want their skin to be taut and glowing. They want to shed the extra pounds.
Yes.
They want their hair to be shiny and their nails to be strong, right? And I tell them, as soon as they come in the door, the greatest secret truly to going from burnout to brilliant is to remember this. And if there's anything you come away with from my mouth hearing tonight is health, beauty, and brilliance begins in my belly. So first of all, why are we putting weight loss and detox even in the same sentence?
Oh, I get it. Tell them.
Here's why. Our body holds on to fat to protect it from the toxins.
Yeah.
Right? So it says, instead of keeping the toxins by our vital organs, I'm going to wrap it up in this fat cell and stick it on my butt or stick it on my back right under the bra line.
Yeah.
And to keep it away from the vital organs. So when people try to lose weight without detoxing, one of a few things happen. They get sick.
Yeah.
Or they lose all the weight, but then they rebound and they gain all the weight back.
Because the toxins are still there.
Exactly. And one of the easiest ways to lose weight and keep it off forever, yes, I did say forever.
Yeah.
And to get it out of those stubborn places is to detox, to continuously detox on a cellular level. Keep the toxins out and you'll keep the fat off. The first one is assessing the accurate stress source. So here are some of the stressors, or in other words, toxins, that accumulate in the body. One is an immune-related issue, some microbe, whether it's a virus, a bacteria, a parasite, or fungus. Okay. Another
usually candida. It's
very often,
culprit.
Very often, because of the use of antibiotics.
Yes, and birth control pills.
Absolutely, and most people don't think of things like brown rice as sugars.
Oh, yeah.
Things like whole wheat bread, all those carbohydrates, even when they are whole grains, they act as sugars in the body. They still have the same insulin response.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So whether it's pasta or whole grains, and people love their bread, it's sugar.
Right, and they just need to be eaten in a certain amount with a limit.
Moderation.
Yeah. So the second thing is, since we're talking about foods, is certain foods. For some people, wheat is a problem. For others, dairy is a problem. Gluten is a major one in our country. There's so much gluten in the wheat. It's
and
unhealthy.
A lot of the pains that we have are coming. I had fibromyalgia for years.
Absolutely.
Got rid of gluten, and hallelujah.
Another one is heavy metals, which
my goodness.
come in from all
we're going to talk
sources.
about that.
And chemicals from places you wouldn't even imagine, especially for women. Our face creams, our shampoos, our hair dyes, even our nail polish. So many things are full of chemicals. Beauty products. Then other one is emotional stress. And then scars. We wouldn't normally think of scars as a problem, but what happens is...
Now, you mean physical or emotional scars?
Well, here's the thing. Where there's a physical scar, there's often an emotional scar.
Yeah, there's a connection, right.
And so you can have a physical scar and it not be activated, but if it's activated and it's still holding on, energetically to something, that could be a block towards your health.
So what would we do about those scars? I got all kinds of little scars.
Well, first, what I do is I check to see if it's active or not. If it's active and causing a problem, then we would address it. So the next thing is having the accurate remedy.
Okay.
And even when you choose the accurate remedy, let's say it's a whole food supplement or it's an herb, is that particular one pure? Is it potent?
And is it alive?
Is it alive? Full of energy?
Or has it been heat treated and dead?
Exactly. The line that I use comes from a farm where the land is incredibly mineral rich.
Organic. Yeah.
Organic. They're the leaders in organic farming. They're processed the same day that they're farmed. They're cold processed to make sure that they're raw. So you open up the jar of something, and the number one complaint I get from people is like, "Oh, this smells funny." I'm like, "Yeah, because it's pure and potent." The third mistake people make is they miss the accurate organ system. And you know, a lot of people are saying, well, I'm going to do a cleanse. And so they go off and cleanse their colon.
Right. Well, and that's not a bad thing.
It's not a bad thing.
You want to do the intestinal cleanse because if you're blocked, it's really difficult to get the other cleanses.
Absolutely. But the colon is the end of the line, though. And
well, intestinal. I meant intestinal.
Right.
Cleanse,
and a lot of the stuff that's out there that people are doing, you know, takes care of it at the end of the line, but they're missing the beginning.
Oh, yeah, and it's still blocked.
It's still blocked. So, for example, one thing I look at, is there enough hydrochloric acid in the stomach?
Oh, yeah.
Hydrochloric acid is necessary for the breakdown of and to absorption of all of our minerals and our nutrients and to prevent
the proteins.
Exactly, so we don't have food rotting and fermenting in our bowels.
Which you see, you look around and you see all these people with bloated bellies, these distended bellies, and what I always say is, come on, guys, think about this. In nature, the only thing that has bloated bellies are dead.
That's true.
It's death. Okay, or you see like the little starving babies that are near death and they're full of parasites and their stomachs are bloated. And so when you're walking around with these big distended bellies, check it out. There's a serious problem.
And not only that, but you get people who are going to their doctors for regurg. They're getting acid reflux.
Oh, and
the
it's so
doctors are giving
with
them
young people.
Yeah, they're giving them like a pill that stops the acid production in the stomach.
Because there's a gazillion other problems.
But really, it's not that they don't have enough acid. It's not that they're having too much acid, excuse me. It's that they have not enough acid.
Right.
And what happens is the food putrefies in their stomach, and then the acid that they're experiencing is from the food fermenting, not from having too much innate acid. So we need to start with that. It goes to gallbladder. We need to give them, you know, is their bile thin enough? And you can do that, by the way, by having beet leaf greens, juicing a lot of beet leaf greens and eating beets on a daily basis.
And we normally throw them away.
Right. Those can save you from cholecystitis, from having your gallbladder taken out.
Get out of here.
Absolutely.
Okay. So beet greens, people.
And if you're already in trouble, you might need it in a tablet form, but good prevention.
All right, that's good.
And then the liver needs what the minerals and the vitamins in order to do both phase 1 and phase 2 liver detox.
Oh, absolutely.
You know, and then we get into the colon. So we got to make sure all the other organs have what they need as well.
Right.
Fourth mistake that people make is they're not getting the right information. A lot of the information that's out there today is media driven, and they don't always have our best interest at heart, or they're not necessarily doing all the research. I've provided a couple of videos on my website at rachelbello.com. The first one is about sugar, and it talks about things that you wouldn't think are unhealthy for you, like orange juice. Right, and so we're told.
Are we talking about the fresh squeezed?
Doesn't
organic,
matter. Doesn't matter. The idea of having juice from fresh juices, we're told that it's really good for us, but it causes a big problem. It's pure. It's almost entirely fructose.
Yeah.
And unlike glucose, which needs insulin, fructose goes straight to our livers, and it's a lot of stress on our liver and can cause fatty liver, just like alcohol does.
So would you say to eat the orange whole?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Nature created a warning for us, you know, and it created a way for us to eat it and know when we've had enough. That's why there's all that fiber.
And it's not absorbed so fast.
Exactly. The fiber that's in the orange helps, you know, slow down the absorption.
Okay, well, that's a good one.
And it's not saying never have fruit juice, but just, you know, it's
but even so, you know, that's why they always had these little bitty fruit juice glasses.
Right.
And you see people with these gigantic glasses of
Excellent point.
Which is
and there's
crazy.
a lot of symptoms that are going around where people think that they have anxiety, they think that they have depression.
It's too much sugar.
And it's just too much sugar.
That's
so when someone comes in with leaky gut, I have to take care of that first, and I do it in two parts. There's the supplements and herbs that I give them, and then there's the foods that I recommend for them to eat.
So what are the foods?
The foods are fenugreek, making a dip out of the seeds from the fenugreek.
Okay.
In Yemenite culture, it's called hilbeh.
The whole seeds.
The whole seeds, ground up, soaked, spices with garlic.
Okay.
Definitely recommend garlic.
Okay.
Absolutely. Beets, kale, Brussels sprouts. Those are three major foods that are very important. Absolutely. Great.
Okay.
And then I also recommend something, it's an old recipe. You can find it on nourishingtraditions.com. It's called bone broth soup. This is something that you will find in every tradition. It creates gelatinous substance from the bones.
Because you're literally cooking the bones to
cooking the bones
to mush, right?
Not so much to mush, but you do see it breaking down.
Yeah.
And it has to have some acid in the soup in there to break it down.
And so what kind of bones are you talking about? Beef bones?
Yeah, they could be beef, they could be lamb, but here's what's most important. It's got to be grass-fed. It's got to be from organic, and organic isn't even enough. Really, they should be grass-fed.
Okay.
And if you can get it blessed, like if it's kosher or halal, that's even better.
Okay.
And the key word regarding the kosher to know that it's grass-fed, most often than not, ones that are called Bet Yosef, those are often grass-fed and they're blessed. But and I'm not recommending people eating steaks. That's not good for you. Eating steak is not good for you. But eating small amounts of grass-fed foods that are, or organ meats that are used medicinally, that's even recommended in Ayurveda.
And traditionally, meat was used, like you were saying, the liver, parts of the liver for medicine. Now, I'm not eating meat, but, we are talking about this.
Supplements, I do. So, sometimes I do the fenugreek. I use a line called Standard Process and MediHerbs. They're available through healthcare professionals. They're really, really high grade. And I'll generally use something called Gut Flora Complex from MediHerbs.
That's so important.
So incredible. Those are really powerful herbs that kill off the bad guys.
Yeah. And they actually help to reestablish the good guys.
Exactly. It shifts the ratio. And then I also recommend something called ProSynbiotic.
Yeah.
I also give them Zypan, which is for the
digestion. Yeah, I'm using that. Yeah, that's good
And I give
stuff.
them Enzacor, which is your enzymes. And what's interesting about the enzymes is that it will go into the little villi of your intestines and start to pick off the little allergenic foods that are leaching through into your bloodstream. The fermented foods, that's your sauerkraut, your pickles. And you have to look at the ingredients, and if you see vinegar in it, leave it on the shelf. That's not what you want. You want
unless it's apple cider vinegar, but you're not going to find that.
You're not going to find
in
that.
The
you basically like Bubby's sauerkraut is really great, and Bubby's pickles, she doesn't have any vinegar in there.
Right. Okay, now go ahead.
Let's go to number 6, which is that they weren't purifying at all. They were mostly fasting, is the truth. They were kind of starving their body. And so the benefit of fasting is you're removing some of the load. But if you've already got damage and you've got a system that's weak, you got to actually strengthen it up.
Yes. Okay.
Okay. The 7th mistake people make is that they're not using movement and massage and some other methods. Yoga, right? Anything that can massage your lymph nodes, go to your chiropractor, get your acupuncture, get energy medicine, move your body because the lymph
dance,
salsa dancing. That's right. People are going at it alone.
And then they don't have the information or the education.
They don't have the information, and they're oftentimes. I get so many calls from people,
and they won't read books on nutrition. It's like, come on.
They're like, I'm shaking. I did this cleanse, or I did this thing, and I'm shaking, or I'm fainting, or I'm this, and I'm that, and if they didn't have any professional help,
and they just panic,
and then they end up either in the ER or they end up quitting, and they say, oh, it didn't work for me,
and then they half do it, because that's what people will say to me. They'll say, oh, it didn't work, and I go, well, did you drink enough water? Well, no, I can't be running and peeing all day long, and it's like, come on.
Yeah, and you know what? And here's the thing: our body is going to evacuate the toxins either from our nose. We'll get congestion. You might vomit. You might get pimples. You might get rashes. You might get diarrhea, and those are all things that are normal part of cleansing. It's great, and
it's a healing crisis.
When my patients call me with those symptoms, then I offer a solution to help facilitate that removal in a smoother way.